Good evening. A humanitarian disaster is unfolding in Venezuela after powerful back-to-back earthquakes. The official death toll is 32, but it could reach the thousands.
The quakes struck within seconds of each other along the Caribbean coast, more than 150 kilometres from the capital, Caracas. They're among the country's strongest in more than a century.
First the disbelief, then the panic and chaos. A woman and child managed to dodge falling debris, but nowhere is safe. At the airport, parts of the ceiling collapsed, travellers engulfed in dust. Look at what the earthquake has done, this man says. It's destroyed.
Acabado totalmente.
Here, a baseball game is halted as spectators rush the field. And at another stadium, dazed and frightened, people emerge from their homes, many injured, some carrying pets to safety.
It's the heaviest quake I've felt in Venezuela.
The first tremor struck at 6 p.m. local time, magnitude 7.2. Seconds later, another, more powerful one, 7.5. Tsunami alerts were issued, later lifted. But the earthquakes have been enough to destroy so much. Entire streets levelled, home after home collapsing. This resident races downstairs, floor after floor, inspecting the damage. The lower they go, the worse it gets. Somehow this building is still standing. Roads cracked and cratered, and out on the water, two fishermen watched the destruction unfold all around them. A state of emergency now declared. It was like a horror movie, this woman says.
Several walls collapsed. We're expecting aftershocks. I hope not, but we need to be prepared.
The mission now, find and free the trapped, the injured, those still alive. Rescuers finding some in the rubble of ruined apartment blocks, loved ones waiting, fearing the worst, knowing this may just be the beginning.
And if the predictions are tragically true, this will count as one of the deadliest earthquakes in history. Foreign editor Hugh Whitfeld explains how Venezuela now faces multiple challenges.
It was a public holiday in Venezuela, so most people were at home in the early evening when the quake struck, many living in poorly built apartment blocks that have crumbled. Despite its oil wealth, this is one of the most corrupt countries on the planet, so rescue, recovery and rebuild will be difficult. All of this just 6 months after President Nicolas Maduro was taken by US forces and imprisoned. America now among the nations pledging support. And incredibly, this wasn't the only damaging earthquake today. A 6.9 magnitude quake struck northern Japan. At least 6 people were injured. And a 5.6 hit rural California, the biggest in that part since 1940. A violent realignment of tectonic plates across the world. But all the focus right now is on Venezuela and the race to find life among the rubble.
Back home, and Brisbane's desertion of its industrial past is almost complete, with plans finally unveiled for the Visy site. 13 towers will eventually rise above the flood-prone site, but the deal with the developer is being kept a secret.
A relic from a time when Brisbane shunned its river where glass was once manufactured. This is its rose-coloured future, South Bank 2.0.
We have an opportunity here now on the cusp of the 2032 Games to make this site something special.
A 7.1 hectare urban revival, 4,000 apartments, 13 high-rise buildings.
This site under the former government was going to be a broadcasting centre for the 2032 Games.
Those plans replaced with 1.2 hectares of community green space, as well as promenades, boardwalks, retail and restaurants by construction giant Lendlease.
There will be a range of diverse homes targeted for a range of different customers, not just people looking to buy, people looking to rent.
This is going to create over 2,100 jobs per year during construction.
The former Labor government used $165 million of taxpayer funds to purchase the land in 2022, but the price and conditions of the deal with Lendlease remains a secret.
Well, does it matter?
I think taxpayers would care if a large portion of South Bank is publicly owned versus private.
Really?
Jared Blay might not want to answer questions about it, but he should.
This is public land being sold off in short-sighted effort for private profit.
Operations here at the factory will wrap up in April next year when Lendlease takes over the site to begin construction of Stage 1.
Which includes 800 apartments by the 2032 Games.
I think it's sensible that Lendlease have identified that they're going to do it in stages. Certainly how we plan and procure the projects has got to be far more streamlined.
So a city can shake off its industrial past and build $140 billion worth of projects within a decade. Anna McGraw, 7 News.
6 weeks of vocal objection from far and wide wasn't enough to stop the federal budget's controversial tax changes. The government's laws passed Parliament today as Pauline Hanson's Fire the Liar campaign rolled into Canberra.
Running down the major parties in the polls.
Oh, look, how can you miss that?
Welcoming her One Nation roadshow to Parliament.
Stop Labor, fire the liar, and that's what we're saying, fire the liar.
As inside the Senate backs the tax after a series of votes echoing in the House.
The bell is tolling for all those opposite.
The Greens supporting Labor, passing the negative gearing and capital gains tax increases and $250 income tax cuts and $1,000 instant tax deductions.
Our legislation has just passed the Senate.
After closing another loophole exposed by ACT Senator David Pocock that would have stripped grandfathering protections from investment properties held by couples and hit them with the higher tax regime if they divorce or one partner dies.
Ensuring that this legislation doesn't disadvantage predominantly women.
The Coalition wanted to vote for the tax cuts and against the tax hikes, but the government refused to split its so-called wedgislation, forcing the opposition to say no to the lot.
Why does this Prime Minister, the leader of this dishonest government, want to pull up the ladder on hard-working Australians?
As the bill passed its final hurdle.
Order. They win for workers, it's a win for first home buyers, it's a win for future generations.
Future generations like these students visiting Parliament today.
So who wants to be a politician? Me. Good on you. Yeah? It's not for everyone.
And that is the truth. The government was desperate to get this bill through the Parliament this week because it's been taking an absolute pounding in the budget debate. The Albanese government is going through its most painful period since the Voice referendum, starting with the Bondi massacre and reaching its peak with the backflips, about turns and claims of lying over these budget bills. It's determined now to put all that in the rear-view mirror and move on. Quickly. Katrina.